Hey everybody, it's me DB and welcome to a special How to Duel episode. In this episode, I will also be giving you my reaction to something that has just come up online. So this list that you see here is the list of forbidden and limited cards. And these are cards that, if they are forbidden, you cannot use the forbidden cards in your deck at all. If they are limited, you can only use one copy of the card, any of the cards that are featured on the limited list. And the semi-limited, you can only use two copies of each of those cards that are on the list. So you can see what I just discussed is right here. So cards that are forbidden cannot be used in your main deck, extra deck, or side deck. You can only have one copy maximum of a limited card in your main deck, extra deck, or side deck, and you only can have two copies of a semi-limited card in any one of your decks. So you might want to keep this in mind when you're building your deck, and check back in about a couple of months. As it says here, the next update to this list will be no sooner than this upcoming April. But make sure to, again, check this list every couple of months, because what if a card that you use in your deck happens to be limited, and you have three copies? You wouldn't know that unless you check this list. Alright, so to find out which cards are on each list, just go to this website, and I'll have it in the description down below. And check on the card's type, card name, advanced format. Now that's basically the tournament format, like the regionals and the championships, in which you can or cannot use that card in. If a card is forbidden, like it's seen here, you can not use it in advanced format tournaments, but you can still use it traditionally, like if you want to play your neighbor or your friend away from tournaments or something like that. In these remarks column here, that just signifies that if a card is either new to the list or was on another list before moving to this one, in this one. And that works for all three of the lists that I'm going to show you. Like, for example, you see Blackwing Gofu the Vague Shadow. You notice that it was limited, so you can only use one. But starting on February 5th, which is on Monday, this card can no longer be used in any decks, not even a Blackwing deck. So you can still use it for this weekend's tournaments, but if the runner of the tournament decides to use the newer updated list, then you cannot, because it's now on the forbidden list. So that's just an example. And some of the other newer cards that are listed on the forbidden list for this time around is Dandelion. And new to the list is Double Iris Magician and the Level Eater. And the Maxi. That was a very popular card there for a while. Unfortunately, that's now forbidden as well. That's kind of a bummer, because that might hit one of my own decks. In fact, actually, two of the decks that I have, Blackwings and Magicians, Pendulum Magicians, got a little bit hit, because I think my Magicians run, at least one of my decks runs, probably my E-Heroes run, Skull Crobat Joker, and now that, I can't run that anymore. Alright, so that's a look at the forbidden list. Kind of upset that the Skull Crobat Joker got hit, and the Maxi has also taken off too. That's gonna kind of hinder some of my decks, like I said. Alright, so nothing else on the forbidden list that's new. But I see that some couple of cards I am very happy to see come off the forbidden list. I'll get to those in a second. A Grinder Golem. That is a limited card now, so you only play one copy of Grinder Golem if you do plan to use him in your deck. Performance Damage Juggler was forbidden, but starting on Monday you can use a copy. Just one though. Hotly for Towers for the Klee Archetype deck, or Queen Archetype deck, Archetype deck, if I can say that right. You can only use one copy of that now, but now you can use it starting on Monday. A Firewall Dragon is limited. Now, that was a very popular card when Code of the Duelist first came out. But the two cards that I'm most happy to see off the Forbidden List are these. Monster Reborn. Basically, you can bring back any monster from your graveyard or your opponent's graveyard, although they might errata it to just your graveyard. Very happy to see that come off the list. And Spiral Resort, that's new, so if you're running that in your Spiral deck, so you can only shave that down to one copy. And the other card that I'm happy to see off the list was Solemn Judgment. I think that was a pretty popular card back when it was first released, until it got hit. So that card might be errata too. Errata means the rulings of the cards might be a little bit changed. So, like I mentioned for Monster Reborn, that ruling may change to only your graveyard. You can only recover monsters from your graveyard only. Alright, so we go down here, the semi-limited cards. So it's usually a bit of a shorter list. These types of cards you can only use 2 copies of. And if you don't see a card on any one of these lists, that means you can play up to 3 copies in your deck of that particular card. But if you do see the card on one of these lists, then it depends on which list it's under. If it's under the semi-limited, then you can only play 2 copies. If it's limited, you can only play 1. And if it's forbidden, then you can't play it at all. Alright, and down here are the cards that are no longer on any of the lists. So you can start to use 3 copies of each of these cards if you want to, and if your deck requires you to. A Torrential Tribute, that is a pretty powerful card too, so if you want to use 3, just keep an eye out if the ruling of that card changes. Then you can definitely use 3 now, starting on Monday, of course. So Future Fusion's also off the list as well. And these were all the cards that were previously on a list. And in the remarks section, you could see which list that these cards were previously on. It looks like all of these cards on this month's list you can use in your decks, but you can only use 1 to 2 copies, depending on which list they're on, either limited or semi-limited. But still, though, I'm very happy that Monster Reborn and Solemn Judgment are coming back into the game. I was definitely a Monster Reborn fan back when it first came out, let me tell you. I'm also happy that Thunder King Ryo you can use 3 of now. So that can be a pretty powerful card. Alright, so that's all that I have to say about this month's list. And also the How to Duel series. So we'll continue with my talking about the extra deck monsters that you can have. And I do want to mention a couple of points that some of you viewers made in the earlier episodes. I was completely wrong about the higher the level monster, the more powerful it can be in terms of attack points. I mean, even the lower level monsters can have some pretty sweet effects. Like, for example, my Maiden with Eyes of Blue. If you have that face up on your field, and your opponent decides to attack into it, you can then activate her effect to stop the attack, switch her to defense position, and special summon the Blue Eyes White Dragon. But you have to have that card face up on the field in order for you to use its effects. So any cards that you place face down on the field, you can't use their effects right away. So I just wanted to make that point. I'll make some more points a little bit later on in the series. But for now, I'm going to stop it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and girls too. If you enjoyed today's look at the Forbidden/Limited card list updated for Monday, then please give this video a like. Don't forget to leave a comment.